So I thought this was an urban legend, but I've heard way too many women do story times about how men ask them to pay half on date, not to believe that it's actually happening. So in this one, I thought I would tell you how to handle a situation like that. So if you're out on a date with a man and he asks you to cover your half, here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at him dead in the eyes, but look feminine and friendly, and ask him, but I thought this was a date, you know. And by doing that, you are letting him know that if you actually make me pay for this date, you are never going to see me again. Now granted, I think that men who ask you to pay for your share to begin with are maybe not very interested in seeing you on a second date, but if he wanted to, he actually would cover your half. I think most men would if you tell it to them like that, like a good 70%. Now if you're dealing with someone who is really hot in the head and he still insists that you should pay for your share, then I want you to tell him, well, because I thought this was a date, I actually didn't bring any means of payment, so how about you pay and then I'll get you later via Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, you know, whatever means of sending money that's out there, you know, say or name whichever you want and listen to him. Now obviously you are not to do that. You are never to do that. Okay, block him as soon as you get into your Uber, but just say that in order to get out of the situation, you know, if you really don't want to pay. Now if he still insists even after you say that you should pay, I just recommend you get loud. Okay girl, because at this point he doesn't care how you perceive him clearly. Okay, he is not afraid to be embarrassed in front of you, but he may still care how the waitresses and the other people who are dining at the restaurant feel. So I say just get loud, you know, get loud and say, you know, but I thought this was a date and and I didn't bring any money and man generally pays for dates. Get loud, girl. Get loud. No, this is not for everybody. So if you don't want to get loud and also kind of embarrass yourself a little in the process, let's be real, you could just pay for the entire thing. Like that's another way to embarrass him, and be loud while you're doing it. Like, why do you invite women out on date if you can't afford it? And fine, then I'm just gonna cover it all. Like that's going to be embarrassing, even though you would still be covering even his share as well. So I don't know, I feel if you are really well off financially, like if you have a lot of money, it's worth it. Like the satisfaction would be worth it for someone like me. I would actually do that, or old me would do that. Okay, new me would just okay, new me would just be really loud. Like I don't care, I don't pay on dates. Okay, I don't pay on dates, you know. I just tell men flat out that I don't pay on dates. I don't care, you can do what you want, be as mad as you want, punch the air, I don't care. I simply, I flat out refuse to pay. I just don't pay. Okay, but if you really don't mind and you know you're petty, you can get that satisfaction of paying. But honestly, you can avoid this situation by doing these things to begin with. In my opinion, is first of all, never ever ever ask men out. Okay, because etiquette suggests that the person who suggests the date is going to or has to pay for it. So don't ask men out on dates. Okay, wait until they ask you. Again, depending on how confident you are, you could, like, I flat out tell men, you know, I need you to take me out on dinner this Tuesday to this place, and I still know I'm not gonna pay. Okay, but if you are not that confident, then just stick to waiting for them to ask you out on a date. Also, show up to the date looking really nice. Now I understand that there are two school of thoughts when it comes to this. You know, some people say show up to the date looking normalish, and other people say look really good. Like I say that. And of course it depends on where you met this man, right? If this man already approached you at the gas station or at the supermarket and you know you look just regular, then I guess you can go to the date looking, you know, kind of normal-ish. But if you met this man online, for example, and you uploaded really nice pictures of yourself online, which most of us do, you know, a lot of women use pictures with a little bit of filters on them, and you know, pictures where they have makeup on and their hair did, maybe they're outside in a restaurant or somewhere out with friends, then I do think in that case you should show up to the date, you know, looking as closely as humanly possible to the pictures that you uploaded online. So if you have makeup on most of the pictures online. I recommend you wear makeup. I recommend you wear something really nice, really girly. I say a skirt or a dress. Now, nothing too sexy as well. You don't want to give off the wrong impression. The rule of thumb I go by is if tatas are out, legs are covered, and you know, if legs are out, tatas are covered. Okay, that is the rule that I go by. So for me, generally, it's a mid-length silk skirt and a top, or you could do a midi dress with a little bit, you know, a little bit, not a lot of bit, a little bit of cleavage. I think that is also, you know, an appropriate outfit depending on the restaurant, you know, if the place is a little bit more fancy. Now, of course, you could go for dress pants and stuff, but I personally like to stick to outfit that only girls can wear for whatever reason. Because, you know, like we say in German, there is no second chance to make a good first impression. Okay, you won't get a second chance to make a good first impression, so try to do, you know, the best first impression that you can. Wear perfume. Now, of course, not overpowering, you know, not too much, but you want him to be able to smell it when he's, you know, greeting you, giving you a kiss as you get there and stuff like that. You know, make sure your nails are not looking as raggedy as mine today, for example, or, you know, I would get a fill in, and you know, just little stuff like that. You know, y'all know, I'm pretty sure y'all have your hygiene routine down, so deodorant, brushing your teeth, and you know, stuff like that, that everybody kind of know. You know, neat or a very flattering hairstyle, you know, a hairstyle that looks good on you, that is flattering for on your face, and just, you know, stuff like that that we try to do hopefully on an everyday basis. But yeah, I feel like if you're ready, only go out on dates with men who are the one who asked you out on these dates, who invited you to these dates, you know, and you look really nice and feminine and soft and girly on the dates. I feel like most men would not ask you to pay for them, you know. But if in the unfortunate event that he does ask you to pay, then like I said in the beginning, you know, try to remind him, but I thought this was a date, and you know, tell him that because you thought it was that you didn't bring any money, that you get him later. Don't give him the money back. Never give money to men under no circumstance. Okay, in worst case scenario, I guess you could pay for it, like, you know, if the situation is really escalating and really getting out of hand, I guess you could. But yeah, I think you can avoid getting there to begin with by sticking to only going out with men who ask you, and you know, looking really nice, and you know, just being friendly and chatty and smiling a lot and laughing on the date. I feel that should be enough in order to be able to get out of having to pay. But yeah, sad times, you guys. Sad times. 2026 are sad that men are asking women out on dates and then asking them to cover their share. Now wow, like Nigerian people would say, that's a lot. Okay, that's a whole lot, but yeah, whatever. I guess those are the times that we live in. You know, I feel sorry for my girl. She's 15 and I can't believe she's about to go out in a dating world, because baby, the men of today, these men, they're built different. Okay, they're really built different. You know, I think I also don't deal with this because most men I date are like, you know, in their 40s and 50s, but I feel like these young men, they're built different. You know, I feel sorry for girls who are like in their early 20s and stuff, because these men out here are really feminine, baby. Like, they feel like they are the princesses in the relationship. Okay, they actually want to be getting the flowers, and they want to be courted, and they want to be taken out on dates, and they want to be called and written to. Like, it's really bad out here, y'all. Like, a lot of ASAP Rocky out there, like, and I don't know why women are doing it. I don't know why they're sliding in the DMs of this man and chasing them, because, you know, the more they do that, the more men are going to want that, the more men are going to be in their feminine energy, and baby, it's just a disaster. It's just not good, in my opinion. But I guess this is where we are. I hope that this video is helpful to you if you're a young woman who is just entering the dating game or been dating for a while and don't really know how to deal with the unfortunate situation of a man asking you to cover your share. If you like this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. In the comment section down below, have the community, girl, let us know how to get out of having to pay for your share. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel as well, and I will talk to you guys as always tomorrow. Bye guys, thanks for watching. Mwah.